All right, welcome back. Today, we're tackling a source that puts forward a pretty staggering claim that for generations, we've been fundamentally lied to about the one thing that gives us all life, the sun. Let's get right into it.
And the source just comes right out of the gate with this question. I mean, think about it. What if the very chemicals we've been told to use for protection are the actual poison? This immediately flips the script on basically everything we've been taught about the sun.
So no time is wasted here. This is immediately framed as a head-on collision between two totally different worldviews. The official story we all know, and what this source calls a direct indictment of that story.
And this is where you can really see the two sides laid out crystal clear. On one hand, you have the official narrative, the sun is dangerous, it's an enemy you have to block. But on the other hand, you have this indictment. The sun is the power source for all life, and the fear we have of it has been deliberately engineered to disconnect us.
According to the source, this isn't just some simple misunderstanding or, a mistake in public health messaging. No, it's presented as a deliberate psychological campaign, one designed to cut us off from a fundamental source of power.
Okay, so if there is this heliophobic agenda, how was it actually put into practice? Well, the source argues it all hinges on one central piece of scientific misdirection, what it calls the vitamin D deception. The deception, according to this material, starts with the name itself. I mean, think about it. We all hear vitamin and we think of something we need to get from our food, right? But the argument here is that by calling it a vitamin, its real identity as a powerful sequesteroid hormone, a master switch for the whole body, is basically hidden in plain sight. And this is how it actually works. It's not something you eat. It's a straight-up photochemical reaction happening inside your own body. Sunlight hits cholesterol in your skin, and boom! It literally gets turned into biological information that helps run your entire system. And the scale of this thing is just staggering. We're not talking about a minor player here. The source states that over 1,000 of our genes are regulated by this single hormone created from sunlight. That's essentially the main operating system for a massive chunk of our genetic code. So what does that mean in practice? Well, its influence is everywhere. We're talking about the primary operating system for your immune system. It helps manage inflammation, it's involved in preventing autoimmune disorders, even fighting off things like respiratory infections. And it doesn't stop there. It also helps regulate serotonin and dopamine, which, as you know, have a huge impact on our mood and mental health. But it's not just about hormones. The source also points to a bioelectric function. The idea is that the infrared light from the sun actually penetrates our bodies and charges the water inside our cells, kind of like a power-up for our cellular batteries. And what's the result of this supposed fear campaign? A global deficiency crisis. The source estimates that over 1 billion people, that's billion with a B, are severely lacking in this hormone. And the argument is, this isn't an accident, it's the intended outcome. Which, of course, brings us to the solution we've all been sold, sunscreen. But the source frames this completely differently. It's not protection, it's a chemical weapon, a counterfeit designed to replace the sun.
And according to the source, the official story really started to crack around 2019. This is when the FDA, after decades of saying everything was fine, had to publicly admit that these active ingredients, well, they don't just sit on your skin. Oh no, they get absorbed directly into your bloodstream at levels way, way higher than what's considered safe.
And here are the usual suspects, the synthetic chemical filters you'll find in most sunscreens. The source is basically alleging that this chemical cocktail is what we're told to slather all over our body's largest organ, our skin. So let's just zoom in on one of these for a second, Oxybenzone. According to this document, this chemical is a straight-up hormonal disruptor. It mimics estrogen, it blocks testosterone, and it can even cross the placental barrier and affect a developing fetus. But the indictment doesn't even stop with hormone disruption. The source points to a major audit from 2021, where an independent lab supposedly found a known carcinogen just contaminating dozens and dozens of popular off-the-shelf products. Let's be absolutely clear about what's being alleged here. The very product that is sold to you to prevent cancer was supposedly found to be widely contaminated with benzene, a chemical that is definitively known to cause cancer. There is no safe level of exposure to this stuff. And all of this builds to what the source calls its final verdict, the conclusion it presents as the ultimate inversion of reality. So the final argument is this. You're told to fear the sun.
Then, you're told to protect yourself by absorbing known, corporate-made carcinogens and hormone disruptors directly into your body. The very thing sold as the shield is presented here as the sword. And that leaves us with this final, really provocative question from the source material. If something as fundamental as the sun has been turned into a villain, well, it makes you wonder, right? What else have we been taught to fear that might actually be essential for us to truly thrive?